Mr. Ron Jackson on guitar, y'all. Get your chair if you're doing chair exercises. Get your weights. If you're pumping weights. Line up if you're walking on the wall. Cut me up until I'm just a nose. Get your mat. If you're going to do some stretches. Yeah, honey. Thanks for coming on a walk. Jump on your bikes.
Power on.
Or start your engines. Hey, my name is Vicki. I'm coming to you live from the colony, aka USA, aka America. Let's start this walk, honey. Yeah, y'all, yeah. Like, comment, share, tell uncle, tell auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend, subscribe, and then subscribe, and then subscribe. Yes, y'all, yes. Oh, before we start anything, I just want to let y'all know, you know today is skate day. And I know y'all see me, oh, she's hopping around that ring on those skates. Let me say something. I sit down and stand up from the muscles in my back. I don't have to lean back. I got to press down. I got to put my shoulders in all that distress. These muscles that are wonderful working. Okay, people say, well, go out and do the numbers. I did it. I did it for years and years and years and years and years. It's still in the quarantine. I know y'all act like y'all ain't. But I know it is. And I wanted to do something just like that. And fun. And music. And people, but not on top of each other. We're all there for the same thing. To be on the roller skates. So, that's what it does. I just stand up. My thighs lay there. I'll stand up. Everybody just stand up. I have to lean on the chair. Grandchild, come over here. Let me lean on you so I can get up. Okay, I don't have any grandchildren. That's not the point. So, our subject today is... I gotta try to stretch. I was upstairs hanging, but I think I need still need to do a little bit more stretch. And the stretch. Oh, I gotta take pictures in front of the apples. I'm still putting up my C-seams. My apple in full background. I know, child, I know. I think while the cameras are here, I think I'm just gonna take it just like this. Because exactly this is what it is. This is what you see me doing. This is how I am. This is what it is. Okay. Now, when I first put that title up, I was going to talk about, people give you, false sense of security. That's the way I wanted to go. And as I think on it, I have some really good, strong cases and reasons, for me to do that. So, but last night, or yesterday, as I'm milling over the conversation that I'm going to have with you today, I said, okay, this is what we're going to do. And the ancestor said, no, this is what we're going to do. So, then, they wanted to use Murdoch as an example. They were vibing with me. I'm not crazy. I'm just closer to the separation of matter and energy than a lot of you are. And some have already become all energy. Um, they wanted me to use murder because I'm laughing because I knew he would come out of this some way. His daddy was the law of that lower South Carolina for years. There's many people who would throw themselves on a sword. His truth is marching on. That's them Hatfields, McCoy, and Douglas, and then the low country, honey. You have them up in the hills and the hollers, and then you have them low countries. And the laws are different. So, I knew it would be some shit the minute I saw the honorable judge who is a who is a labeled born in blood inmate criminal on this penal colony. Knew somebody. I knew right away, but I didn't say anything because we said, oh, Vicki, because y'all still into that black and racist stuff. Oh, Vicki, you just saying because it's black. No. I'm saying that because in South Carolina, we are labeled born in blood inmate criminals. We're always up to something nefarious and something criminal. So I knew when I saw that African American judge that this would become a shit show. And it is. And it's going to involve the label born inmate criminal, the judge, some kind of clerk of the court or something like that, and the jurors. And I'm fine with the ancestors, and I was like, I knew it would be some way, I just didn't know which way. You know, I didn't know which way. But I knew in some way somebody was going to throw themselves on the sword because with these Hatfield, McCoy, and Douglas, a dead end is a dead out. That man was a judge or a prosecutor or whatever the hell they called the law of that land for a lot of years. A lot of favors is owed to his family. So one of them Hatfield, McCoys, and Douglas throwing themselves on the sword, it doesn't matter. We said, oh man, it looks horrible for that clerk. It looks horrible for the judge. Look, no. Somebody threw themselves down on a sword in honor of this man because his grandpappy been running that neighborhood all the way up to him. That's their hood. So, that's what the ancestors wanted to use. Because we thought about Shelley. You remember when Shelley was sitting on that stand? I remember the trial. And she was shaking and crying. And I remember watching her. And I was crying. I knew what fear she was talking about. I knew she knew, everybody knew that Murdoch was going to get out. That's his people's land. They said, oh, he owes millions, he owes millions, he owes millions. Yeah. For them Hatfields and McCoy, owing don't mean as much to them as when they're owed. So, it's not a big deal that he stole money from people. The big deal was the murder of his family. And once he gets that tossed, everything else will come down around. That's how it is on this penal colony. He is a citizen's arrest. Judge Newsom is in my head. Newsom is a label born blood inmate criminal. In that land, I was shocked. I was like, whoa, what the hell happened? How could that label born inmate criminal sit in judgment over this Hatfield McCoy Douglas citizen's arrest, honey? It wasn't until maybe like the 1930s that our ancestors could ever testify against a citizen's arrest. They were above reproach. Just wasn't done. I guess I'm going to boil some more. Anyway. Okay. Not so bad, but I gotta oil it again. I found out where the noise was coming from. Anyway, so that's what they wanted to go with. And they wanted me to use the false sense of security that Shelley was feeling on that stand. Because everybody knew that this trial would not be the trial. He is going to get off somewhere. And they knew it. I knew it. But I couldn't say it. They said, oh, racist, racist. No. These are penal states. South Carolina is a big old penal state. And in those penal states, labeled born and blood inmate criminals don't reside or tell them citizens of Hatfield and McCoy Douglas citizens arrest nothing. They are all the law. So I knew they would be able to go it out of court because all a citizen's arrest has to do is accuse a labeled born and blood inmate criminal, and you take the citizen's arrest word. So now from what I'm hearing, I guess you ought to say alleged, it's alleged that one of the jurors' citizen's arrest spoke to the judge, labeled born and blood inmate criminal, about something with Facebook and all kind of shit, and the clerk. And that the labeled born and blood inmate criminal judge did nothing. In South Carolina, who's ever accusing him, I told the judge, and the judge did nothing. In South Carolina, her word is stronger than his. And I knew that. So that's why. But if I said anything, you say, oh, Vicki said right now. No. I don't care how many degrees you get, how many guns you can strap on yourself and slap them badges on. At the end of the day, when the shit is done, this is a penal colony, and your ancestors are the reasons for the penal colony. 600 odd years ago, your African ancestors was fighting with the crowns of Europe. Yes, they ruled. It's like any other country. You look at these histories and these wars, and they have us so tainted that we just run around throw spears. No, bitch. We was throwing more than that. So they ruled Europe for us, specifically England, Spain. Different nations came out of Africa. It's just a hop, skip, and jump over to England. And then war broke out, and see, sometimes you're on the top and sometimes you're on the bottom. Our ancestors went from the top to the bottom and wound up as prisoners of war on this penal colony. And every child born to them, every descendant is labeled on this penal colony blood and born inmate criminals and enslaved. Once enslavement was removed, Emancipation Proclamation. Emancipation Proclamation. Once it was removed, then we were just labeled born in blood and made criminals. So that's why all our towns were burned down, because it had to be some nefarious shit going on. It had to be some illicit or illegal stuff, because we are labeled criminals. Too many of us gathered, they either break it in, break it up, or they send someone, and you see the gangs and stuff, that they're infiltrated. Yeah, that's what they do on this penal colony. That's why I say go solo. So, they know that. And if George Newsom don't know that, then maybe he's the one that threw himself on the knife for the Murdoch family. Maybe that Murdoch daddy did a lot for him. You know what I'm saying? That he would take the hit, so another judge can do the trial. That's loyalty. That way they don't go after his family, take his land, or do no shit like that. He just throws himself on the sword, excuse himself, and then another judge come in, and then they let Murdoch walk. So just like, boy, does time fly. Let's take a break, y'all. I said I'm walking now, trying to save my feet and toes. Cause if I stop walking now, I didn't know it would be a finger in the morning or a hand clap in the morning. Yeah, I remember and when I used to go to the poetry clubs, I used to snap your fingers. Yeah, I said, yeah. You pull your energy when you exercise. Everything starts like energizing. You just suck it in, pull in. Yeah. Yeah, that's what exercise is about. Getting that energy level up, honey. Yeah, I said, come on with me. Yeah. Save your feet and toes. It feels so good when you know. Y'all don't know how low my blood pressure has gone. Before I didn't know. I was like, are they gonna torture me all my whole born days? And the ancestor said, as long as you remain on this penal colony, yes. 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 You were born in jail. But it's on the penal colony. And at 65, now you know. Somehow at 21 I knew. And I married a Ghanaian man. And I thought we'd be out of here. But it didn't happen. Anyway. So that's what the ancestors want to talk about, murder. And just look at that case again. Look at the smaller things. So you can see like the whole penal colony. There's boss hogs all over the place. If you go into the brick and mortar prisons, they got boss hogs in there too. And yes, there's generational prisons. And debts and all that kind of shit. Especially with these Hatfield McCoy's Douglas, honey. So, but I wanted to talk about friends that give you this false sense of security. You know, even some relatives. You know, like you don't see each other for a lot of years. And then you see each other. And you talk and you're like, oh wow. This is new, this is different. This is new. You know? And then You make certain moves, and like I said, it makes you feel like you want to kick yourself in your own ass. But the ancestors stopped the foot and said, no, no. If you didn't give your 100% to it, then you would not have known that it was nothing but fakery. Fakery. Fakery, I support you. Fakery, sure. But on my end, it was all real. All real. No fake. I can't buy with the ancestors being all fake and shit. But that's how I wanted to come out. Get good. But oh, as I was listening to my radio that no longer tells you what song plays. You remember back in the days when they play the music and they have to put down so-and-so song by Mariah Carey or such and such song. Today, I listen to the radio stations in the state of Connecticut. They don't have to say the musician's name. They don't have to say the title of the song. They don't have to give you any credit for it. But you're busting out our chops on social media and shit. We gotta have y'all names and shit on representing your song. I listen to a radio for like 20 minutes every morning. I hear about 5 songs and I still don't know who the hell is singing it. I still don't know the title of the song. Anyway, as I was listening this morning, they mentioned 9/11. And that always reminds me of Irma. Irma left the penal colony of Louisiana to come up to New York, the penal colony of New York. And she fought her way through, became a real estate agent. And she wasn't. So, but she was a social activist. She didn't understand. When I found the African burial ground, I was down there to HUD. Was it Housing, Urban Development? Some more penal colony stuff, John. We won't let you be real homeless. We'll let you live with the rats and the roaches. So, Irma couldn't understand that she was on a penal colony. She just couldn't understand. And when we went down to, we didn't go for the penal colony, 26 Federal Plaza. She wanted to know why foreigners were able to come in this country and get loans for houses, cars, etc., etc. And how we, labeled born in blood MA criminals, were not. She didn't understand that. She also didn't understand how folks could get Section 8 when they just like got off the plane from whatever foreign country they came from. But us labeled born in blood, inmate criminals could not. Irma said she wanted to do foster care. And that's how she and I connected, but thank goodness she didn't. But my heart aches all the time that I wasn't able to. Because every time I fit a criteria to get a foster care, they would move the goalposts, so to speak. So, Irma couldn't understand why. Again, and that's why Irma reminds me of my mother, because Irma was saying, what did we ever do to them? What? But I work hard, we work hard. Why is it lumped? And then she said, they're gonna get this. They're gonna get this. And it made me think, at that time, the last time I went to the World Trade Center, it was during the scam time when they just needed all the equal opportunity shits was open up, and a lot of grants was given to corporate America and such to hire the label born in blood inmate criminals to work for you. And so when they did that, a lot of things, everybody's vibing really high because, okay, let me stay on focus. So, I got kicked out. They just wanted my social security number. And I filled out all the applications and never got jobs. And the last one I went to in the World Trade Center, I said, I can just say this now, because back then if I'd have said that, ooh, God, hater, raider. Because once the planes hit the World Trade Center, honey, everybody was Americans. Even though they were still blowing our asses away, dragging us out of cars and doing all kind of fuck shit. We was all Americans. So don't tell the truth about your situation at 9/11. When I walked out that World Trade Center, I was like, I wouldn't care if I never came back out here to go for a job at anything again. At that time, I thought it was racism, but what it was the World Trade Center had a lot of banks and such, and money. And I'm a labeled born in blood inmate criminal. So there was no way they would want me around their money. It had nothing to do with my experience. It had nothing to do that if they checked my reference, I had a clean record. That didn't do anything. If they put too many born in blood inmate criminals around the financial center, because that's what they called it too, we would do something nefarious because we're born in blood inmate criminals. Why? Because 600 years ago, the crowns of Europe imprisoned our ancestors on this penal colony, and every child after was born enslaved and labeled a born in blood inmate criminal, though you commit no crime. So, now I understand why. What, maybe 10, 15 people in the whole world were African Americans? And for Irma Tudor's answers, Irma question, there was a lot of foreigners in there. But they weren't labeled born in blood inmate criminals. So it's okay for them. Even if they came from a country that was full of criminals, they could work in the financial system. But on this penal colony, labeled born in blood, inmate criminal, and only fire and destruction could ever change that for us on this penal colony. Because it's been working too good for them. So anyway, when I heard it, and they was talking about 9/11, I said to myself, whoa. Okay, we got a little time. I'm going to stop the conveyor belt when I do the weights. Yeah, I had to flip my mattress. Trust me, them little weights come in handy. And building up your strength and your hands and your arms. So I remember walking out World Trade Center, hoping I'd never see it again. Wouldn't care if I did. By that time, the African burial ground was all settled in. The remains had been returned. Okay. And they didn't lose too much because they put the African burial ground in the World Trade Center. But you can totally understand why. When I look at my watch sometimes, it's also to kind of let me know where I am on the video. Because I have to do this little reel. So, here we go. I'm getting the weights. Yeah. So, that's what I found out today about 9/11. And so my memories of it came back. And my memory of it, one of them, I had quite a few. We'll be walking for a long time, you'll hear each of them. But there's this really ignorant woman. She's originally from them southern penal states. And, okay, tuck in your elbow, let's do 5. Let me see. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1 for good luck. Maybe I shouldn't bring the arm down so low. Let's see. Tuck in your elbow, squeeze your gut. Neither up nor down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1 for good luck. I did this arm better. Okay, so let me just do this, okay. Maybe that's what I'll do to replace gulp and chat. But just still like weight shit. Okay. Squeeze your gut, tuck in your elbow, neither up nor down. 5. We're gonna do it the right way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Neither up nor down. A little too far up. But anyway, we're working on it. It's in progress, y'all. Tuck in your gut. Squeeze your gut. Tuck in your elbow. Neither up or down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1 for good luck. Yes, indeedy, y'all. Yes, indeedy. Yeah. I did 3 loads of clothes. I washed pulled my mattress cover off. Cha. Whew. Thanks for coming on the walk. Like, comment, share. This is where we do our chat and sips. I'll tell you the rest of the story. So, when I went there, I went for customer service. It's an insurance company. And somehow when I went through the interview, I still remember the guy's name, Bill. We had a good chat. And by that time, I had produced my AIDS education plays and such. And that's what Bill wanted to talk about because his brother was an actor. Bill felt I was too educated and too professional to do customer service. He wanted me to work directly with the doctor's offices and study the patients. Fine. So I had to work with the operative of the insurance company out of Florida. She was down in Florida. Some stuff had gone bad. She was a director. She had to go down there. For over a year, I talked to that lady on the phone. As far as phone friends is concerned, we were the best of friends. Vicki, she says, when I come up there, we're going to go out to lunch. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to meet you, such and such and such. Now, everybody's laughing at me because I'm getting along so well with this lady, most ignorant lady on the planet, and they know that she's ignorant. They know that she definitely feels we are labeled born in blood inmate criminal. But you can't tell over the phone whether you're talking to a labeled born in blood inmate criminal. She couldn't. I was at work. That's my professional voice. That's what they said I had to sound like if I wanted to keep a job or get a job, especially in communications. We had the best of times on the telephone. She was telling me about Florida. I was telling about New York. I can't wait to see you, she says. I'm like, I can't wait to meet you. Finally, she leaves Florida and she comes back to the offices in White Plains. That's when the insurance company was. And when I came in that morning, I can't remember her name right now because that's just how fucked this was when I tell y'all. So I get in and the receptionist says, oh, Vicki, so-and-so's here. They know that we had such a good rapport on the telephone and everything. So I'm so excited. And I'm like, where is she? And they're like, she's in the office. I'm like, yeah. Now, I had never seen her face to face, and she had never seen me face to face. So I go to her office, and I said, we'll call her Lynn. I said, hey, Lynn, you're back. And she looks up, and she says, Vicki? I said, yes. How was the trip? How was the flight? She said, you black? I was like, yeah. She wouldn't even take my hand. We were bestest of friends on the telephone. She would not even shake my hand. She gave me a look of betrayal. And I taught my daughter that because my daughter sometimes, when she speaks on the phone, they say she sounds like a valley girl. I said, Dave, sometimes you may have to slip a little African American something in there to give them a clue of what you are, because if not, this is how ignorant they are, because it matters so much to them. That if you don't and they like you, when they see you and they've been taught that you're a label born and blood inmate criminal, then they feel that you deceived them. You're not friends. Because how would she be friends with a label born and blood inmate criminal? I should have told her earlier. Should have gave her a clue. And I told my daughter that too. You got to be careful. And she's lost a few jobs, stuff like that, because it was like, oh, oh, oh. And then some just say, oh, you black, oh, or you're African American, oh. Labeled, born in blood inmate criminals. So I'm there. She wouldn't shake my hand. She sat back down, and I caught that chill, and I backed out, and I couldn't believe it. We never spoke again after that, other than she was writing me up or getting my supervisor to get on me, because she felt that I had betrayed her. I had betrayed her. So she wanted me moved. She wanted that whole thing that I was part of with the doctors and stuff shut down, because now it was a criminal enterprise. Because I hadn't told her I was an African American. Not the fact that the work got done, we straightened everything out with the doctor's offices. It was stuff with forms and different things like that. And that didn't matter that we were able to accomplish and get all that done. I betrayed her by not saying, hey Lynn, you don't know, hey Lynn, you're talking to me, we're having a good time, but I need for you to know I'm black. I'm African American. I need you to know I'm African American. And we probably would never spoke again, and I probably would have fired. But she didn't know. So she's thinking I'm this, I guess, blonde hair, blue eyes, some good. We gonna go out and get. Because we used to talk about that. Oh, we gonna go out to dinner. We can't wait to get back. Blah, 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 blah. Over a year, y'all. And when we met face to face, she just couldn't believe it. I've been talking to you? You? I never talked to you. She thought I had given her a false sense of reality. My voice sounded so like the citizen's arrest that she would never in her mind would she think I was a labeled born in blood inmate criminal. And when she found out, she felt that I had done a criminal act by putting myself as something that I wasn't. So getting back to 9/11. She was in that group of those executives and such that was supposed to go down to the Blue Cross Blue Shield thing in the World Trade Center. So, when I found out that she was part of the group, as everybody was praying, oh, I'm gonna make it to the building. Oh, they're in the building. I hope they got out. I was sitting there saying, I hope the tip of the plane chopped off that bitch's head. That's what I was thinking, and that's what I'm reminded of 9/11. Now y'all go for all that bullshit, the law, free, the home, and the brain, all that shit. Just keep that to yourself. I know this is a penal colony. I ain't into the Matrix. Then, because I'm at work, happened like 9, 10-ish, whatever. I'm at work. And I also remember saying, Irma, 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 you said it. You said it. You said they can't keep treating us like that. Something is going to happen for them to stop. Sadly, Irma, it did not stop because this is a penal colony. We're the labeled, born in blood, inmate criminals on this route. So no, as much as they hated the Arabs and stuff, they still had their patty rollers shooting us, beating us up, dropping guns in the communities, dropping drugs in the community. Nothing changed on that end. We're still the labeled, born in blood, inmate criminals as long as we're on this penal colony. We're the horriblest. No, we didn't fly the plane in. They wouldn't give us airplane lessons because to give us airplane lessons means, come on, say it with me, we would do something nefarious with the airplanes. So they didn't want to train us, I'd call us descendants, African Americans, as pilots and such, because being labeled, born in blood, inmate criminal, we would do something criminal with them. So the folks that came from another country, they could get the lessons. You see the neighborhood where the people who hijacked the airplane, where they lived at, we couldn't live in. Because in those neighborhoods, we were labeled born and blood inmate criminals. So if we moved there, we were going to do something nefarious. We were going to sell drugs. We was going to rape their kids. We was going to fuck the dog. We was going to screw their roaches. Something nefarious. But these good chaps from out in the desert, they're good, honest people. So they were able to live in a neighborhood where they were basically not as observed as we still are in this penal colony. See? When the water goes down, what happens? It comes up, honey. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So, that's what I was sitting there thinking. And then I remember the sister. She was so moved by what happened at the World Trade Center and how everybody was going down there to get help, that she started doing a collection. She just knew they needed clothes or whatever down there. That's what she said. She was connected with some group or some cult that got her fired. Anyway, she collecting clothes and stuff like that. And she didn't know she was she didn't know she was labeled a born in blood inmate criminal, and that we're not supposed to care like that. And the fact that she cared like that, and being a labeled born and blood inmate criminal, to getting clothes and stuff and going down there, and these ignorant folks' mind is her siding with the enemy. Because why should we care? Why should our heart get so full because she was thinking she was a United States citizen and America was under attack? But that don't work for us. That don't work for us. That works for those citizens arrests and them Hatfields and McCoy Douglas shit. That's not for us. When we do that, it is still seen because we're labeled born in blood inmate criminals, it is still seen as a criminal act. I sit down, volunteered with kids all the time, and when I speak to a Hatfield, McCoy, Duggar citizens arrest, that means nothing to them. When they look at me, they see a label, born and blood inmate criminal. So what they hear is, oh, she was trying to get next to those children, probably get to the mother so she can go in the house and she can rob them and steal them. Or maybe she want to steal their car. Remember, I volunteered at the Veterans Hospital before I took nursing up as a course. I mean, a year and a half, maybe 2 years. They was having award ceremonies and stuff like that and giving out little plaques. They never gave me shit. Because they were still trying to wait to find me with drugs in my pocket. They was trying to wait to find me walking out with a spit thing in my bag. That's what they're waiting for. I'm thinking I'm volunteering. I'm giving the veterans water. Hoo. I'm thinking, and then I'm hearing they have these awards for volunteers, but I'm not there. But I'm a volunteer. Not to Hatfield, McCoy, Duggar, them Republicans, their supporters, the wardens, the overseers, and the patty rollers, honey. All they see. That's why I don't understand how people say, I follow the United States of America. In my eyes, every time I hear you say that, I was like, damn. They really pulled the Matrix over on your asses. These are the... Anyway. So everybody was like, oh, okay. Everybody was like, okay. We all Americans. We all Americans now. But wasn't just 3 years ago? We was voting and they had the guns at the voting thing? Wasn't that about 3 years ago? Ready to shoot us down? Was no voting rights act. That's only the call of the executive warden. And he said no. Shoot them bitches. But we were Americans then. False sense of security. All those cases I mentioned. The Murdoch, poor little Shirley, I know she went underground, and anybody who went to that court and spoke against him, y'all better get out of damn town. In a low country, you better get so high country, you're in another country. All right? False sense of security. World Trade Center. Oh, we're all Americans. We're all Americans. I can't even tell you, like, maybe 2 equal employment opportunity good things I had to put in for some fuck shit and I won. Some dumb shit. Still looking at me saying labeled, born in blood, inmate criminal, though I've committed no crime. All my volunteering things, that's what they say, oh, I volunteer. They're like, girl, that don't mean shit for you. You's a label, born and blood inmate criminal. If you handed over a kidney, it don't mean shit. It don't mean nothing. So though on this day, all years ago, we was all American. I ain't having a stroke. It's a little hard to come out now. We were still labeled born in blood inmate criminals and was treated as such. So that's what I mean, a false sense of reality. I work out, and you see we drink water because, see, me, this is the real reality. This is my real reality. Not the bird in the bush and all kind of stuff like that. No. This is real. Me. And that's why I take care of me. I exercise me. I rest me. I tell my brain matter, let's focus on health. Set an example, show an example. Even if I am labeled a born in blood inmate criminal. Even if I am. There's other labeled born in blood inmate criminals. Maybe just getting to your body and taking care of yourself. But that's what's real, and that's what's been real to me. Everything else, label born. This is a penal colony. I'm a resident. I was born here. I was born in the prison of my ancestors. I was born in the prison of my ancestors, and many generations were. And saying we're Americans, I'm my mother's child. I'm my father's child. That's as good as I can get. This is a penal colony for me. This has been a penal colony for me. They say, oh, every day, African country, you walk out, you never know what you can come from. Listen, every day says, I'm 65 now. I'm going on 66. Every day, I don't know when a patty roll up on me. I know I panic. I never know when these crazy white people go crazy and do crazy shit as they do. They only tell y'all that we do it. When they do it, it's undercover. Still, with all this internet, it's still undercover. You know? I don't need no false sense of reality. You see how I do this? Let y'all know that I've drunk it. But, because it's real. I'm not saying, oh, you know, y'all drink, y'all doing good. I'm drinking too, but you just can't see me drink. No, drink more than stuff. Anyway, thanks for coming on the walk. Like and share. Tell an uncle, tell an auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend. Subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Well, tomorrow. Oh, if y'all want to know the subject that I'm going to speak about on FB, you can go over to the YouTube, because that's where I put up the notices. Because when I put up the notices on FB, I think it's supposed to roll over. And then when I do the live, what I labeled is there, but it has made all my videos say blank. So all this time I've been putting up notices, going through the notices, thinking that the title would come over to the video. No such festival. So now I just put in the title before I start the walk. Hey y'all, like, comment, share. Let me put a little bit more camera. Like, comment, share, tell an uncle, tell an auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend, subscribe. Thanks for coming on the walk. Have a excellent day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for your support.